everybody, welcome to the middle of nowhere. This right here is the Intel Arc A770 Limited Edition GPU. It's Intel's top-end offering in their Arc lineup, with the other two being the A750 in the middle and at the low end the A380. If you're not sure of the differences between the normal and LE versions of the A770, the LE comes with slightly faster memory and double the amount of VRAM at 16 GB as opposed to 8. For those who are spec-minded and curious as to what the A770 LE offers, I'll overlay its specs and you can pause now to read, or read while I keep talking. From a gaming performance standpoint, the A770 sits more or less between an RTX 3060 and RTX 3060 Ti. However, I'd argue there's a giant asterisk here, which translates to 4 supported titles, and I'll get to this in a moment. As for price, the A770 comes in around $350, which costs slightly less money than most RTX 3060s and AMD's RX 6650 XT and RX 6700 XT, which is fantastic as it really makes this price region very competitive between the three GPU makers. Now getting back to that asterisk, because Intel Arc only has full support for games using the DX12 and Vulkan APIs and doesn't fully support DX11 or DX9, the average gamer won't see great performance in non-DX12 or Vulkan games. Additionally, Intel is on record as having said you better turn resizable bar on if you want any kind of acceptable performance using Arc GPUs. So you'll need an Intel 10th, 11th, 12th, or 13th gen CPU, or an AMD 3000, 5000, or 7000 series CPU. This lackluster API support means if you play a wide variety or older games that don't use DX12 or Vulkan, then you may be out of luck when it comes to playing those games with an Arc GPU. This isn't to say you won't be able to run those games at all, you just won't be able to run them at high frame rates or necessarily bug-free. The native support just isn't there, as instead, Intel has opted to use D3 D9 on 12, which is both a mouthful to say and is an emulation layer, hence the lackluster performance of DX9 games. We interrupt this video essay on Intel Arc to bring you late-breaking news. Intel recently released driver 3953 in the opening days of December 2022, giving gamers a dramatic increase in performance to many DX9 games. According to Intel, there is an average FPS bump improvement of 1.8 times versus the previous driver, and 99th percentile FPS is receiving an improvement of up to 2.3 times. Not only has Intel managed to increase average frame rates, but they've also improved frame times, resulting in a smoother gameplay experience. As you can see in the graph with an overlay of the previous driver 3490 and the newer one 3953, frame times were very high and kind of all over with the old driver. You do not want this in a gaming experience as it will result in hitching. Ideally, you want a tight line, which you get with driver 3953. From the looks of things, this is quite an improvement. The games shown in Intel's examples were tested in 1080p and 1440p. The system Intel used to perform these before and after benchmarks is quite high-end, so depending on your PC hardware, your results may vary. Another thing Intel mentioned is this improvement is not just for the flagship A770, but users of the A750 and A380 GPUs will see performance improvements as well. Overall, it's great to see such a notable improvement so soon after the product's release. Get subscribed, as I'll be testing my A770 on more run-of-the-mill spec'd hardware. Also, I've left links to the Intel site and third-party tech news sites so you can read about the updates in the description below. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. On the production side of things, for activities like photo editing, video editing, and 3D rendering, it seems Arc shines, or is at least competitive with NVIDIA especially. Arc may not beat NVIDIA's NVENC or CUDA cores every time, but it hangs in there with GPUs that cost upwards of $200 to $400 more. This makes Arc GPUs an affordable solution for those wanting to get into creative work without paying a high price of entry, which is great for consumers. Additionally, because of its AV1 encoding capabilities, Arc GPUs make for a great capture card, provided there's no conflicts when using an NVIDIA or AMD GPU while gaming. The beta version of OBS 29.0, for instance, contains AV1 encoding support for both Intel and AMD RDNA 3 GPUs, and there is already support for NVIDIA's RTX 4000 series GPUs. Hopefully the addition of AV1 encoding will push Twitch, which currently doesn't support AV1, to adopt it sooner rather than later. So what does all this mean? It seems on the face of it, Arc is not a great value in terms of being a gaming GPU. Sure, it's affordable, all three models are, but because it lacks support for a wide range of games and because it's a gamble on which games will actually perform well with Arc, the question becomes, why buy it? Honestly, if you're just into gaming and have no real desire to stream or do other content creation work, then I can easily say skip this first generation of Arc. Instead, go for a comparably priced and performing RTX 3060 or 3060 Ti or an AMD 6650 XT or 6700 XT. However, if you want to tinker around with video capturing or editing, test games, etc., and you can afford to spend the money on any of these the three models of ARC GPUs, which range anywhere from $140 to $350, then maybe give it a try. If nothing else, owning an ARC GPU will be owning a piece of tech history. Secondly, why am I even talking about this? Well, it's because I'm looking to the future. Ultimately, the ARC GPUs represent two things: hope and choice for the consumer. On the hope side of things, ARC will hopefully gain momentum. Hopefully Intel continues to update its drivers so we see tangible performance improvements in both games and production applications for the next several months, if not years. And finally, hopefully Intel will learn from its Gen 1 attempt and will then develop and release a second generation of ARC GPUs that both perform leaps and bounds better than these initial outings, but also retain their affordability, and then truly they can become a third contender in the GPU market space. This leads us to the second thing: choice for the consumer. When we as consumers have choice, we win. Hands down. Choice brings competition, and competition usually signals both innovation and lower prices between competitors. The simple looming possibility of a consumer not choosing their products will force AMD and NVIDIA to at the very least consider adjusting their prices to remain competitive, and at the most to actually lower them. So even if you, as a consumer, skip Team Blue and end up buying a Team Green or Team Red GPU, you'll at least know the more affordable price was because there was a Team Blue Mogwai lurking in the shadows, threatening to become a full-blown gremlin. And that's all I have to say about Intel's ARC GPUs. I'm definitely a fan of the design Intel implemented with their LE card. It's simplistic, compact, and overall gorgeous. I'll definitely be testing this GPU out and then revisit in a few months to see how much it's hopefully improved in terms of gaming performance due to driver updates. If you're looking for content that has actual numbers and benchmarks, I've linked a couple of videos by EPOSVox in the description. They're super informative and cover not just games, but also production applications. Before I leave you, let me just say thank you to all the viewers and subscribers. Your support has allowed me to keep the channel going and make purchases like this A770. PBS definitely has the right of it when they say this show was possible with support from viewers like you. So thank you. And with that, thanks for watching, everybody. Like the video if you liked it. If you're not already, show your support for the channel by getting subscribed, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any future content. Feel free to stick around and watch some of the other videos I've made, and let me know what you think about Intel's GPUs in the comments below. I'm Seth, and I'll see you next time in the middle of nowhere.